What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Canes Insight Daily Podcast. Been doing a lot of these, man. A lot of commits for your Miami Hurricanes. The latest one, a big one, four-star wide receiver Tyran Evans from Charlotte, North Carolina, commits to the Canes. Former Tennessee commit at wide receiver. Tennessee wanted to keep him. Miami made a big push, got the visit officially, and then later, after his decommitment visit unofficially, and he is now a Hurricane. He's a four-star on three. Kind of some mixed reviews on him, but really I think it's just a matter of the reviews or the ratings being updated because all the buzz on this guy is that he is a rising player. I know the coaches are absolutely ecstatic about this one. Just some quick specs on the player. You're talking about 6'2", 6'3", depending where you land him. Over 200 pounds officially. That's what he measured in at on his visit. 36 receptions for 980 yards and 14 touchdowns as a junior. This was apparently his second year playing wide receiver. 27.2 yards per catch. According to On3, that is the highest number yards per catch in their database. And again, this is real football in North Carolina. They love his competitiveness. They think he's violent through contact, his ability to go and snag the ball in the air. This is from the staff. Most impressive body control for a 6'3" plus wide receiver that they have seen in a while. They like his bendiness, his twitch, and they think he has an insane desire to work, loves football, never wants to leave the field. So they are fired up about this commit. We'll pull up the film in a second here as we get excited about what we just got here. John Z says, we just lost Cooper and Johnson to Georgia. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we lost anybody. I think that's just kind of the doom and gloom. And again, this is a rising player, a blue chip player. Already a four-star by some sources. I suspect he will be a four-star by many, many others. There you go. Boys cooking. Feels good to be a Cane. Let's take a look at the film here so we can see why everybody is so excited about this commit. Why, again, he is such a valued player, not just from the Canes, but also from Tennessee, which fought like heck to keep him, but were unable to do so. I think really what it is the big play ability, man, the ability to make plays down the field at that size, over 200 pounds. Look at that twitch to just stop on a dime and get separation and then finish the play. Just a big body dude, man. Somebody with a lot of it, but look at it right off the line, just boom, fire off the ball and then create instant separation. As you can see, big stadium, big game. When you have the highest yards per catch of any player in the On3 database at wide receiver, that's pretty eye-popping stats especially for a bigger receiver. A lot of times those guys are more, move the chains kind of guys. This guy's making big plays, and he's doing it at a real level of football. I think that's something you see here. Look, it's like they're even, and he's still making the play using his body to get down the field. Always great to be a Miami Hurricane. Everybody fired up here in the chat. Look at it's the suddenness. See that quick move right there. This is not like a lumbering guy. KC3 pointing out it's important to stack another big guy to push Josh Moore. Josh Moore, big receiver, Miami signed last class. This is a very similar player, I think. Both guys very productive. Josh Moore's a guy that put up great numbers in West Broward. Had some really nice flashes in spring. I think you see a lot of similarities with Tyron Evans. Just the twitchiness at the size, the big size. Look at this diving catch right here. I mean, he is making play after play. The production, I think, is big. Breezy saying Derek Cooper's projected to Miami. Yeah, I still think that's how it's going to go. But either way, we're talking Tyron Evans. Look at him just easily create separation. I mean, this is real football he's playing against. These are not, these are not little guys. I've heard that Isaiah Horton comp, and I think that makes some sense. Look at the suddenness there in his movement. Second year playing wide receiver. I'm curious what he was playing at before. Was he a safety? What was he? One man tour asking, how does he compare to Isaiah Horton? I think that's a good comp, just the size, the suddenness at the size. He's bigger than Zay Horton at the same age, just stronger, but similar frame. In terms of his ranking, I think he is a late bloomer. This is a second year playing receiver. That's why nice play right there. You're seeing his stock rise. On3 was the first to give him that 4-star rating. I expect others to follow if he has another big year like he had this past year. Look at him in the red zone, just tough to deal with off the line. See any Amon Richards in him? I don't know. I mean, Amon Richards is pretty special after the catch. Very explosive. I'm not sure I see that, but I think Horton's a good comp. Look at him right there. Vaughn, what's up, D-Money? What's up, everybody in the chat? Yeah, man. Vaughn, always appreciate your contribution. I mean, again, he's just running by guys. This is real football, folks. There you see him adjusting to the ball, making the play. This is real deal football. His coach, which again, look, the coaches are always going to be high on their players, but I think you get a lot from these interviews. He told On3 that this guy's a Mike Evans type talent, big and physical, uses his hands well, attacks the ball really well. He's long, he can run, good body control. Best attribute is his ability to block. He has a block on this later on this highlight reel that he just absolutely kills somebody on a crackback. The guy almost dies on the play. Johnny Lagoon, I apologize. Sorry about the earlier rant, D, talking about his anti-Northeast rant in the earlier show with Mike. We forgive you, Johnny Lagoon. But here, back to the coach's take on Tyran Evans. It says, one of the best blocking receivers he's ever had in 14 years. Again, you'll see that later when he just knocks someone's head off. Willing blockers on a consistent basis. Again, Mike Evans is the comp. He says that this Evans, Tyran Evans, has been timed at 4.52 in the 40. That would certainly get it done for Miami with his size at 200 plus pounds. South Carolina, Florida State, North Carolina, NC State in the mix, and of course, Tennessee. Question, how, On3 has him as a 4-star. Why do this is a service someone asked you earlier. The question someone asked you earlier, why do the other services besides On3 have him as a 3-star? And the coach said, he doesn't camp a lot, not a real big camper. Once you start getting notoriety, noticing him, he's never been a guy to go to camp for a star. That's a big reason that some have him as a 3-star, some have him as a 4-star. Started out at Charlotte Chambers, where Casey and Ariane Concepcion play. Casey Concepcion, you remember him from NC State. So he's a tight end there. So now he moved to this new school, switched to wide receiver, and then really just blew up this year with the 37 catches, 980 yards, 14 touchdowns. I mean, that's big-time production. You see here, every time we look at these videos, this guy's making huge plays down the field. Tyler, good point. Jackson Cantwell got crystal ball to Georgia, too. I think I'm not worried about Derek Cooper one iota. Johnny Lagoon says we have the top class in the ACC with this commitment. Big one from Tyron Evans. I mean, you see here, man, this guy, you see the blocking that you heard about. I mean, he's physical, man. Former tight end. I want to hope they show the crackback, because the crackback was, I mean, he got a flag for it, but it was one of the nastiest plays I've ever seen. You see him in the red zone, make himself available, then goes and finishes with the block, gets the touchdown block there, makes the play. Look at this block. This is the one I remember. Watch this, guys. Look at this block right here on this poor dude. Boom! Helmet flies off, flag flies. I thought it was a legal block, but the guy, might not be playing football very long after that. I mean, that was just nasty block from Tyran Evans. So again, Tyran Evans coach says 4.52 speed. Came in toward our school, tore it up. When he touches the ball, he can make things happen. Miami coaches like his body frame, ability to stretch down the field. Same things that I'm hearing there. John Lagoon saying not only the number one ranked team in the conference recruiting-wise, also the highest average composite at 91.16. Yeah, these are some highly ranked players. Look at the blocking there from Evans. I think this is some guy who's going up. Luke asking, do you see us adding anyone else aside from Lopez, Keys, and Russell? I don't think you're asking whether we'll add all three, but whether we'll add someone from that group or two people from that group. I think that's the group for now. We'll see. It's a long season, but I think for now that would be the group that you look at wide receiver. Let's look at the post from, I believe this is his father. Let me follow this one. Maybe it's his coach. I'm not sure exactly who this is, but we're looking at the picture here. I mean, look at the size of this guy. Cristobal's a big dude, and he is like a couple inches taller than Cristobal. I mean, that's pretty impressive. There you see him and Kevin Beard. Again, Kevin Beard was not like a tiny receiver. He was probably a good 6 foot, 6'1". I mean, Evans is huge, man. You see him standing next to these guys. There with Coach Stroud. Again, good frame. He's already dressed like a Miami guy. And you can see how easily he'll gain weight. There you see him again, taller than Cristobal, man. The size is impressive on this young man. Legit 200-pound player. So, yeah, I think a lot to be excited about with Tyron Evans. Question about Javion Mallory. I think Mallory will probably be a Cane with Jay Lamar committing to Georgia. And I think I think Derek Cooper will be potentially a Cane to wrap that running back class up. How big a class do I think? 27, 28 players. That sounds about right. But I think this is a big one here with Tyron Evans committing to the University of Miami. Just again, a very talented wide receiver with the arrow pointing up. You want to add some size. You got Vance Spafford, who is a really talented receiver, but a smaller wide receiver that committed. Was it yesterday? Man, it feels like forever ago. There's been so many commitments. Maybe 2 days ago, you got Vance Spafford, the extremely fast wide receiver, 4.35 wide receiver from Orange County. So I'll look at the video here. Let's take a look at this video for Tyran Evans. You can just see the size. This is the commitment video. He went ahead and posted this. Let's just pull it up here. There you can see again, great production by the UM team on these things. But look at this dude, man. He is a big boy. You see the length. He really hasn't filled up. I think if he's 200 now, I could see him being that 210 range, putting some size. There you see with the hurricane flag throwing up to you. This is a high-rising player. You want to get these guys on the way up. You don't want to get the early bloomers. This is certainly a late bloomer. I'd be shocked if he's not a 4-star in all the services in the future here. Again, On3's already got him there, but I think I could see him being on that list pretty shortly. If we got any more huddles here of Evans, again, let's watch his sophomore. So this is his first year playing receiver. So you can see how far he's come as we watch his sophomore film. We just saw his junior film where he was just off the charts. And I suspect when we pull up the sophomore film here, we're going to see a big difference in terms of that he's come a long way since this time period. You got the Gatorade commercial. Let's go see here. All right. So this is a sophomore film. And this was coming off a year playing tight end. You can see this, he loves running just downfield. Look how strong he is, man. Just dragging that guy into the end zone. Production made a huge leap. What you like to see is that big jump from sophomore to junior year. But I'm sure you can see some flashes here. Let's see what we got. There he goes, and wide open. Very, for a big possession receiver, see how easily he controls the ball, even as a sophomore. For a big guy you'd think is a possession receiver, I mean, even as a sophomore, certainly as a junior, big play after big play. He's not somebody that's out there just moving the chains. They might want to cover him. He's wide open. But you see him just dragging guys into the end zone. Physically strong player, even as a sophomore. Man, I don't know how he's 15 years old. He looks like he still has braces when you see his pictures there at UM. So this is someone who's physically still developing. There you see him here. Again, everything is downfield, man. You would think he'd be one of these big lumbering possession guys, but that's why I compare him to Isaiah Horton. Horton was more of a possession guy actually this year, but if you look at him in practice, you watched him in high school, he was very much a guy that could get downfield. I think you'll see more of that now with Horton in Alabama, and with Evans, you're certainly seeing that ability where I'm not surprised that as a junior, he led the entire nation, at least in terms of the On3 database of recruited players in yards per catch at 27. That's just kind of his thing. You look at the receiver room, Josh Moore, a similar size receiver. Dalen Upshaw, solid size receiver, not a big guy, not a small guy compared to Allen Hearns. Malachi Tony, a slot. Vance Spafford, smaller receiver in the recruiting class, very fast. Jason Lopez, if you can get that one done, he's going to be more of a slot type receiver. JoJo Trader, lighter guy, very talented. He has some length, but he's more of a lighter receiver, more of a quickness kind of guy, bendy type of receiver, not necessarily a physical player at this stage. Nikar, also not the most physical, powerful guy. So you really do need that size to add to this room. And you're seeing that not only with Josh Moore last year, but with Tyran Evans. Ryan Jake saying, where are the defensive players? We got 2 this weekend with Ashari Charles at defensive end, J.J. Edwards at linebacker. They need to fill up that, get some size on defensive line. That was one of the comments earlier. People were upset about that James Johnson crystal ball to Georgia, and that would not be a good thing. Miami felt pretty good there. I'll get the latest on that, but you're trying to add size to that room. So, we'll have to see what Miami can get done at defensive tackle. I think that would be the priority, is getting some more size. Defensive backs, you got a lot of uncommitted. Jontavius Wyman just won the defensive back award at the Rivals 5-Star Challenge. Speedy, athletic defensive back at corner. You have Jalen Waters committed at corner, big, physical. They think he's as good as anybody in the country. Who else do we have committed at corner? Camden Portis, as an inside guy at the cornerback position. I think safety is where you want to add somebody there. Maybe a Devin Jackson from Orlando. Brandon asking, did you see what Tom Lloyd said about Bryce Perry-Wright? Yeah, Miami's going to be a factor there. Bryce Perry-Wright visited unofficially in the spring, visited officially during the summer. This is the defensive end / defensive tackle from Buford, Georgia. I believe he's a 5-star player at the moment, highly rated guy. Clemson's in there, Texas A&M, I believe Texas also. But Bryce Perry-Wright, Miami is really in the mix. Appreciate you, Trick Daddy Canes. Almost 1,000 on. We're getting close to 10,000 on YouTube. So please like and subscribe. Let's pull it up here. My guy Trenton Breeze is reminding everybody. Let's go get this. Let's get us to 10,000 on Twitter. Let's go. Or sorry, on YouTube. We're at 9,900. 100 away. Maybe you can be the 1,000th subscriber on YouTube. So listen to my man Trenton Breeze, the deodorant, and subscribe to Canes Insight. 10,000. Let's get there. We'll be there soon. It's a lot easier when you get commits every other day. That's exhausting, man. I got to say, filmed the show. Then I did a Storm Sessions, interviewed Tanner Smith for the baseball team. Check that one out. I think my interview with Wesley Basaint is going to be dropping sometime this week for the official University of Miami channel. Great interview. Great kid. He's going to have a big season. Then Tanner Smith, the baseball player, today. But when you keep getting commitments, you keep recording shows. It's a good problem to have. A-Rod asked, is Beer going to be able to close on Calvin Russell? I mean, Tristan Keys is still in the mix. Jason Lopez is still in the mix. I think all those guys you're still looking at. A-Rab, how is my man Lincoln Riley losing out for a Mission Viejo receiver? Yeah, Orange County for Vance Spafford. And I like how Vance Spafford and Tyron Evans complement each other. The speed, the quickness of Vance Spafford, and then the downfield size and physicality and body control of a Tyron Evans. Mike Bridgeford, Miami's still in it for Tank Jones. I believe they are. Auburn's in the mix. Alabama, I heard, is pretty strong there for Anthony Tank Jones. So another battle, man. I mean, these are big boy battles in enemy territory, the Deep South. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Hopefully you win enough to have that strong defensive line like you had in 2024. That's what you want to repeat, where you had Armando Blunt, you had Justin Scott, you had Marquise Lightfoot, Booker Pickett, you had that caliber of guy, Artavius Jones. You want to repeat that caliber of class on the defensive line. That's how you win championships. I thought last year you did good at defensive end, certainly with Hayden Lowe, 5-star, Herbert Scroggins, defensive end. I think it's going to be a really good one. Dante Simpson turned out to be a really, really good find at defensive tackle, 3-star, but probably more of a 4-star, 5-star talent when you actually look at him. Micah Newton was injured, didn't get to see him, but you want to stack defensive line, especially the bigger guys, the 290, 280, 300, 310 type guys. You want to really do well with that tax bracket, that size. Those are the guys that people go and get. And you certainly want to get some more players with that profile because they're hard to find. So watch some highlights of man, look at this dude. Okay, so let's watch this here. Let's watch Tyron Evans, some more highlights. This is from his Twitter page. Let's take a look right here. Look at this. Let's see here. They keep saying the word bendy with him, and you see it right there, just going up and over, guys. Yeah, you can just see him getting more and more athletic the more he plays and the more he gets used to his body. Tyron Evans is a very, very talented dude. If he really runs a 4.52 like they're saying, like his coach is saying, and has more than enough speed to get the job done. You can see why Tennessee was so focused on this player, man. Miami's been recruiting him for a long time. Miami had him there in spring, again, unofficially when he was still committed to Tennessee. They just really, really wanted to get this guy. And this is a very, very good ball club that he played for, Huff Football. They got several, Division I type players. So when you had those stats, it's real. Let's see some more film on this guy. I'm just scrolling through his YouTube. Let's see here. Here's Tyron Evans looking off the line. And that corner's got no chance. Boom. 87 yards. There you see he's a 3-star recruit. I expect that to change. I agree. I think that's this is the last. So we'll be looking back on this and saying, man, he was a 3-star. He already's been changed on 3 to a 4-star. And I think, again, the more he plays, and especially if he repeats the great season he has as a junior, I think you will see him as a 4-star player. Let's see. Antoine Casey, Tristan to Miami is coming. Tristan Keys, that'd be certainly a big one, right? To add to Tyran Evans, two big guys from the South. They'd love to get Tristan Keys to add to that crew. HVAC Trev, Miami just passed Clemson recruiting. Keep it going, Mario. Need Cooper and Keys next. No surprise who the popular guys are in this chat, man. Everybody wants to see Tyron Evans passed, paired with Tristan Keys, a Derek Cooper, maybe a Calvin Russell. You're in the game with these guys. Gary Bostic, how big is Keys? I think Evans is probably bigger than Keys, but Keys is pretty big. I'm trying to think, staying next to him, I'd say probably 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". He'll be over 200 pounds. I don't know if he's there yet, but he would be there. Very talented guy, obviously. Over 1,000 on, man. Let's like and subscribe to this channel. Let's make sure we get to 10,000 here. Johnny Lagoon, him and Neiman Lawrence would be nice. Need to get him on board. Neiman Lawrence, the 2028 quarterback, originally at Ransom Everglades, now at Northwestern. So we'll see if we'll see how that one plays out. I heard you might want to reclassify. I don't know if that's the case. We'll see. But Miami's not going to get involved in that recruitment until or they're already offered. They're involved in the recruitment. They're going to be involved in like him reclassifying or anything like that. Random question here. What happened to Jose Leon a couple classes ago? Redshirted at Appalachian State. Do I think we're solid now with Javion Mallory, with Jay Lamar going to Yuga? Yeah, I think Javion Mallory will be a Cane, and he's a really good player. Ronnie Powell, we're definitely hot right now. Who's next? Who's next? A great question. I'm trying to find out myself. I'll be making some calls today. Hopefully do a bank here coming up tomorrow. That'd be my goal if we can get that done. Delane Simmons, Keys will be icing on the cake. Now we need to start getting these defensive guys to sign. Yeah, I mean, again, Ashari Charles, J.J. Edwards, also pretty good ones. But yeah, I think size at defensive tackle and just defensive line, and then also safety. Those are the things that we're looking at. Nick Canino says Dobson just hinted at reclassifying on X. We could use him. I mean, he's going to play safety. Where's he going to play? We'll find out. Then Trick Daddy Canes. I keep seeing clips of Nick Lanier from Northwestern. Any intel? Nick Lanier plays raw Miami with Jalen Jones, 2027 commit from. He's out in MacArthur in Broward. Jalen Waters is on that raw Miami team. I believe they're all playing in the OT7 national championship game here in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. Nick Lanier is part of that squad. Malachi Toney was part of that squad. I believe Calvin Russell is on that squad as well. But Nick Lanier, I've always heard, is probably as good a player on that team as there is. Just one of these just super cocky guys in a good way. Score a touchdown, do a backflip. Just one of those dudes, man. He's always been good. He's another one that could reclass. I haven't heard that to be the case, but if he does, certainly he could play in this. He could be a part of this class. I mean, this guy's a major player, very similar to Malachi Toney last year, maybe a little bigger than Malachi Toney, more of like an explosive playmaker, where Toney is just very much a high IQ, crafty, very quick player. D. Frost, how close were we at getting Jay Lamar? I think we could have gotten Jay Lamar after his visit. But again, I think the recruitment of Derek Cooper, we wanted Jay Lamar. We wanted to have Jay Lamar and Cooper together. But, it's hard to go all in on a Jay Lamar when you also need to keep some bullets in the holster for Cooper, who's the one you really, really want. Not that you didn't want Jay Lamar as a spectacular player. But I think just from Miami's standpoint, they have to get a Derek Cooper. C. Gray saying Nick Lanier's class of 27. Yep, that's true. I heard he could reclass. I don't know that. And I know Miami's not involved in that, but either way, he's going to be a major player, whether he reclass like a Malachi Toney or if he just stays in his class. He's a stud. All about the U. Let's go. But yeah, no, I'm a big Nick Lanier guy. He's unbelievable. But yeah, look, so far, this recruiting class at receiver, you have the big guy now with Tyran Evans. You have the speed guy in Van Spafford. Now I think it's just about getting that kind of like that statement wide receiver, whether it's a Calvin Russell, whether it's a Tristan Keys, just something like that. Anthony Burke, what's your take on the Derek Cooper crystal ball if you haven't answered already? I mean, I think the on-3 Miami guy, Stephen Wagner said Miami. The on-3 Georgia guy, Jeremy Johnson, said Georgia. I mean, my personal opinion here, Yeah, I think Derek Cooper will be a Cane. I think he's too important to Miami. You just saw Georgia take Jay Lamar because they couldn't be left empty-handed. I heard Ohio State saying they think Miami because of the NIL, which is the usual thing. But I do think that just Derek Cooper's too important to Miami. I think Miami's offensive line, their running game was significantly better than Georgia's last year. Usually you say the opposite, but last year and even the year before that, you saw it trending this way. Georgia's running game has taken a tremendous step backwards last year with Stacey Searles. And then Miami got Jackson Cantwell over Georgia, continuing to work. So, they're doing things there. Booker's Rebirth. What's the name of that 5-star DL that Evans and Tom Lloyd mentioned that Miami's in play for? Because Lamar Brown, defensive tackle for Baton Rouge. Miami's going to have a chance there. Bryce Perry Wright, defensive end, defensive tackle from Buford. I believe he's also a 5-star at the moment. So we'll see where that goes. A-Raz asking, is the Georgia dominance over? I mean, I think so. I think Gunnar Stockton just kind of average. I don't think he stinks necessarily, but I don't think he's particularly good. That's just my candid opinion. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think that Gunnar Stockton is particularly good. That's just my opinion. Well, that's why they play the games, though. I could be wrong. Question, I think Ronnie Powell asked what our current ranking. There you go, number 6 in the country over Clemson. So USC, which has 30 commits, they've been really working hard in this recruiting class. 19 4-stars, 30 commits. I mean, they almost have double some of these teams. It's crazy. Texas A&M doing a really, really good job. 17. I don't know how Texas A&M recruits so well besides the money. I mean, I've been there. It's kind of a dump. Notre Dame, you got the usual top teams, Georgia, Ohio State, Miami right there, number 6 with all these top schools. And good average class ranking as well, 91. So, they're over Clemson in the average rank, and they have even one less commit. Over Penn State, over Florida State. I had to scroll down a little bit to get to Florida. There they are. Yeah, not doing too hot. Alabama, I know Alabama's doing well. Where's Alabama? Right, that's surprising down there. I know they're in it for some big time kids. I'm sure they'll flip some here down the road. But yeah, Miami is doing their thing, man. Nick West says Georgia has to compete in an open financial market now. No more good old boy advantage. That's a fact. Kirk Ranger, hope you get a break soon. All these impromptu commitments must have your schedule anywhere. Listen, it's good problems. I want more commitments. I'm sure I look like a mess and my voice is not that strong, but I hope they keep sending me on here for commits, especially for top players like this. D. Frost, who's a top recruit Canes fans aren't talking enough to weren't play for? I mean, we've talked about quite a lot of guys. I don't know. I mean, we talk about so many on the Canes Inside podcast. It's hard to say we're not. I mean, Bryce Perry Wright, I would have said, but that one gets kind of out today. Yeah, I keep hearing. Look, we talked a ton of Tristan Keys, so we're definitely talking about him. But I did hear a lot of confidence that one could get done. We'll see. Camden Burton, Tyron Evans, a big ad for the 2026 class. Big receiver who has so much talent will cause problems for the defense. Yeah, man, it's a lot of size. A lot of size. Johnny Lagoon D, how's your arm? Your daughter almost pulled it off. Yeah, man, she was ready to go to camp. Young Sammy was pulling my arm off there. She wanted to go to camp. She didn't realize we had almost 1,200 live like we do right now talking about the next commit. Edwin Rivera, Orange and Green, baby. Gary Bostic, who are your got-to-have guys for this cycle? If you do a must-have for 27. I'm behind on 27, so I can't do that one. In terms of must-have, I mean, I'll tell you the must-haves kind of, I think, from the team standpoint. Derek Cooper, for sure. They really want to land one of these big defensive tackles or defensive ends from the South. And I'll put James Johnson in that. I know you got Crystal Ball to Georgia. Devin Jackson's high on the board. So my personal, view of the world, like guys I personally like my favorite guys that are still around that are on the board. Obviously Cooper's great. I love Zachary Turner. He's probably my favorite tight end of all these guys. I love Brett Koloje. Everybody does too, but I mean, I think he's a day one starter on most teams. Miami, he probably will have more depth that he doesn't need to be a day one starter. I think he could start day one. He's that kind of guy. Who else do I love? I mean, I love Jason Lopez. Tristan Keys, of all the 5-star type guys, he's probably my favorite. I mean, that's not exactly, creative, but I think he's going to be great. We sat down and interviewed him, and he was awesome. And you could tell, I just love everything about him, just how smart he is. He's got great charisma. And of course, the guy's game is unbelievable. Plus he's big, when you're around him in person, you can see his size. Who else do I really like on this in this class? Like I mentioned Lopez, I mentioned Turner, just total football players, my kinds of guys. Lamar Brown's great. He's 5-star. Obviously, everybody knows he's great. Yeah, those are some that I would just highlight right now, and we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Kaloje is a major talent. Andre says, I don't think Canes fans really appreciate what's taking place. It's not going to stop for years to come. I hear you, man. I hope you're right, and I think you might be right. Just top class in the ACC. If you can do that every single year, you're in the ACC. You're going to have a ticket to the playoffs if you can play to your potential and really get the thing rolling. I think once we get over the hump, that's when it really, then you believe that you're in the playoff every year. It's like Clemson. Clemson had no business being in the playoffs, but I think they have a lot of belief in that program because of stuff what they've done over the course of years. So they expect to be in that mix in a way that's different than maybe other programs. Oh, here we go. James Johnson is going to announce his commitment June 25th, which I believe is that Saturday. That's 6th, 7th. Yeah, it'd be Saturday. We'll see. I know Georgia's trending. I'm sure Miami will be working that one hard till the end. We'll see how that one goes. Good question from Hassan. Is Tristan Keys close to Jeremiah Smith as a receiver, or is Smith way better? I think Smith's probably way better than everybody. But I would say of these receivers in this class, I think Keys is the closest one. Now, Smith is better. Smith is the best receiver I've seen locally since Andre Johnson. I was a kid when that was taking place. But I think Smith is, he's like a Patrick Peterson, the Hall of Fame kind of level at his position, because the key to and Keys, is the best of this group, but Jeremiah Smith is really hard to beat. I think the key with Jeremiah Smith, why he was so special, is we talked a lot about I've been talking about the mental with the receivers. I think the mental is the most important. Smith has the best mental game, which is the most important thing in my opinion for wide receivers, and he's the best physically. So, I mean, when those two things are the best, you're going to be pretty special. Keyshawn Stansel, he's committing June 28th. So June 20th will be a big day for defensive tackle. You hope to get at least one of these guys. I know Stansel seemed like he was going to commit right after his visit to Miami. Clemson got him on campus. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina. They made a move there. So we'll see. I know Miami would be hurt if they go over 2 at defensive tackle. They've led to different points for these guys, so we'll see how it looks. Andre Grant says 4 years ago we would have gotten 2 kids, maybe 3 kids out of this class. Now we got commits and want the next best thing three seconds later. Very true, Andre. I mean, that's very true. I mean, we take for granted that we're going into the Southeast for defensive tackles. We're going into Charlotte here for a receiver that Tennessee wanted. We're going into California for a white receiver that runs a 4.3. That's a 4-star, top 75 player. I mean, these are things that you don't typically see done. Going and getting a number 1 player in the country out of Nixa, Missouri. These are unusual things. And I agree, Andre, we do take it for granted, I think, a little bit. We're always on to the next thing. But, hey, this makes my job easy because I'll be ready to talk about the next thing. So I'll do some digging. I'll see what I can get here. We'll do the bank hopefully tomorrow. A lot of moving parts, but I'm trying to do my best here to get that. I want to give you the comprehensive info. I don't just want to give you piecemeal and speculation. So over 1,300 on. We're 100 subscribers away from 10,000. Please like and subscribe to the show. Let's get up to 10,000 and get this thing rolling, man. 1,300 on. Tyran Evans, wide receiver. He'll be a 4-star. I guarantee you when this thing's all said and done, if he stays healthy. 4-star ready by on 3. Really like his upside size. Big playability. Fired up, man. Big one for the Canes. More to go. Go Canes. Oh, actually, before I even sign off, I want to talk about my boys, Miami Hurricane Team Store. 20% off the Miami Hurricane Team Store. Look at these hats. The New Era hats. Use promo code INSIGHT20 at the Miami Hurricane Team Store. Get 20% off the hats. Look at all different kinds of designs. Use promo code INSIGHT20 on the website. Or you can go, and that's not just for the hats, that's for the whole store, very limited exceptions. And you can go into the store in person. Say what's up to my man Jeremy right there across the street from the University of Miami. Same promo code, INSIGHT20. Pets, jerseys, shorts, you name it. They got it taken care of at the Miami Hurricane Team Store. What else we got going on here in the chat? Ralph saying if the new NIL rules are going to even out what a team can spend, it will only benefit Miami. Nobody recruits like Mario if all things are equal. Great point by Ralph. And, it's not just that Mario's a crazy recruiter, which he is. Miami's also just a better place for a lot of guys. Not for everybody. Some guys are going to want that college experience in like a college town. But a lot of guys, especially if you're recruiting in big cities, they want to be in Miami. So I think when the money is more equal than it has been in the past, there's no under-the-table money, which the SEC did for so many years, I think that will help Miami tremendously. And by the way, what else helps Miami tremendously, even with all these changes? CanesConnection.com/CIS. So if you use that /CIS, that's our special promo code /CIS on the link. You see it right there, CanesConnection.com/CIS. You get 20% off your first month. I want to make sure I announce that 20% off your first month. Sign up for CanesConnection.com/CIS. New deal for Canes Insight readers that use that CanesConnection.com/CIS web address, and you can join at various price points. You see them all there. They all go to supporting Miami Hurricanes athletics and getting the best players. Forget about water polo. Forget about a new building for, trigonometry, whatever. This is for athletics, the best team that money can't buy, on top of all the recruiting and hard work that we do. The money has a big part in it. This is professional sports. Even though it's college, it's the reality. CanesConnection.com/CIS. Don't just talk about it, be about it, be part of what we are doing here, and make it happen. We appreciate everybody who's in the chat and who's, again, trying to be a part of this thing. We want the best players. Only way is to support with CanesConnection.com/CIS. And yeah, man, Tyron Evans fired up, big addition, more work to be done. But this is a player that everybody in the program, I can promise you, is fired up about. Go Canes.